Hello, everybody, and welcome to our short little video. This coming Saturday, we've got our regular Team of the Month competition coming up, and myself, Matt, and Jocelyn and Laurier have decided to put together a little video to kind of give you, those of you who are having some difficulty coming up with ideas where to start, give you some quick little team ideas for this one. So let's get started. Sound good, guys?
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. So for those who are unfamiliar with Team of the Month, basically every month we kind of put together a little theme for Dice Masters and then kind of challenge you to build something for it. This month it is called 5x5, and the whole idea of it is you're going to be building with only 5 cost characters or actions, not counting your BACs, and you can only have 5 characters or actions on your team, again not counting BACs. The other change is instead of rolling only 4 dice, you're going to be able to roll 5 each turn. Except the first player in the first turn, you're still going to be down by 1, you're rolling 4, but other than that, you're going to have 5, so getting these 5 cost characters shouldn't be too difficult. I think there's some other bans that, if one of you guys want to jump in, some cards that we're not allowing in this one.
Oh yeah, there are 3 cards that are officially banned from this. The first one is Professor X Trainer. Now, for those of you that have been around a long time, you know exactly why we're banning this. It's because of the global that allows you to pay a mask, prep 2 psychic dice from your used, and you can do that any number of times, including on your opponent's turn. That is so ridiculous, and it makes purchase costs almost irrelevant. It is insanely strong and would just define the entire game if it was around, so it was decided that we wouldn't be using this. Next up, we have the Collector, Tannelier Tivan from Guardians of the Galaxy. And this guy, he's too obvious. He'd fit into any team. You could pay the purchase cost of anything -2, in this case, you could purchase 3, to bring any character from either player's cards directly on the board. So easy to abuse. Yeah, that would have been a bit much. And finally, we didn't ban Becky Lynch, the 5 cost anyway, from this, but we did ban Jerry Lawler, ringside announcer. And this is another one that we're banning because of the global, where you can pay a fist and double the damage dealt by a blocked or blocking character. And if you deal with anything that has Overcrush, that gets out of control in a hurry. So because we know there are going to be a fair amount of Overcrush characters, we decided that we didn't want that global around.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to take away the easy choices, and well, we didn't want to totally eliminate Becky, even though she's kind of working her way onto a lot of ban lists. But her and Jerry just are too good, so we'll see how she goes this one without her major crutch there. That cover.
And Jerry just breaks other stuff too.
Yeah. There was just too much that Jerry was going to make not fun, so Jerry's out. So yeah, that's 5x5. So what we decided was we're going to give you a couple 5-card, 5-cost team ideas. So the first one is the Batman. So there are multiple Batman characters that kind of fit this this category, lots of 5-cost ones. We're starting with this one because when we ran this locally, this is kind of how I started. I hit the random button on the team builder, and believe it or not, the rare Batman always prepared is what came up. I swear to God, that was the first one. Honest to God. So that's what I built with, because I really struggled to decide where I wanted to start with. So he's on here. He's an excellent card. You're going to be able to basically piss off your opponent pretty easily. Then we've got the Harley Quinn ones. The Batman plays too rough, who's going to get very big with sidekicks. We've got the other one, strikes terror into criminal hearts, who's going to get basically make your sidekicks bigger. Those are some good starting points for Batman. Do you guys, Laurier, do you want to start us off with some color commentary on this one?
Oh yeah, if you choose to build with any of these cards, there is so much fun stuff you can do. I mean, if you look at the Harley Quinn Batman, they benefit from sidekicks a lot. So honestly, you'll want to look at the Professor X, No More Magnus from X-Men First Class for the global, where you pay a mask and feel the sidekick die from your use pile. It works so well with both of those guys. And it is essentially, it would allow you, if you have a spare mask for whatever reason, because honestly, in this format, because everything costs 5, you're not going to get to purchase something every turn, so you'll often end up with spare energy. So having some globals to use that energy is always going to come in handy. And honestly, with Batman Always Prepared, if you don't care about your friends very much, you can include the common Adam Warlock from Guardians of the Galaxy, which makes any when fielded effect happen twice.
You can do that, but yes, you will likely not have many friends after that. But
yeah, so for the spikes out there, that's a combo you could go for, but it's not something to do if you intend to be in any way, shape, or form nice to the others. How about you, Jocelyn? What do you think?
Well, I'm looking at that Always Prepared Batman. I see you've got it on the one side of the flip, and I love it when you've got flip cards, because then you can, if I'm remembering right, the other side of this one does something to non-villain character dice.
yes, it was. This was more for formatting issues on the presentation.
So on the side that's visible, it talks about your opponent must be reroll all their active villain character dice. But let's say your opponent doesn't bring a villains team, no problem. Just flip Batman over and make them reroll all of their non-villain character dice, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's pretty much an all-in character there, and I think that's probably, if I was going to go with Batman, I'd probably go that way.
Yeah. And that, like I said, that's what I did run, and this next guy is actually who I ran with him, and it's probably a fabulous 1-2 punch for this, Commissioner Gordon. Probably not a card I ever played with until this format, to be honest with you, but if you take a look at that ability, is when you take damage, you field a Batman die from your used pile at level 3 for free. So 2 things on this card. Number 1, you're fielding a character, and if you're using that when fielded Batman, bang, you've just done whatever you need to do. And if you notice that global, you can trigger that vengeance ability very, very easily. So I found this and Batman worked really, really well together. Would you use this guy with anyone else? The other Batman? I don't know that you would.
Part of me almost, if I really wanted to be silly, I almost want to run Batman Terror of Crime Alley, because I still have the Adam West version.
Is that a 5 cost too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I still have the Adam West Batman, and that one also has Vengeance, so it would be, I mean, it's not nearly as strong, it wouldn't be in any way competitive. But if you want to be really goofy and don't feel like running something that we're going to mention later on, then that could be a fun one to do. Go full Adam West.
That would be interesting. But yeah, that's why this guy's on the screen here. It's just kind of, again, the core of my combo when I ran this team. I don't think there's anything else to say about Commissioner Gordon, right? He really only fits with a few things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's move on here. So our next one is we're calling affiliation buff characters. So we got 2 of them on here. We've got, hey, look, another Batman.
But there's no more Batman to talk about, Matt.
This one is going to be good with your Justice League characters. He's going to give them the good old +1/+1 buff, and he makes them a little bit cheaper to field. And then you've got Cyclops there for your X-Men team, who makes them a little bit cheaper to purchase and gives them the good old +1/+1 buff. So, I mean, in this format, I don't believe there's a ton of choices for characters in the 5 costs for each of these affiliations, but there's still enough that you could probably have some fun with it. I know there's some ideas out there as what you could do. Like, what do you think?
How about you take this one, Jocelyn, to start?
Sure, you tell me that while I'm looking things up right now. I don't have all this stuff in my brain like you guys do. So, I like X-Men characters. I think that there's a lot of really cool X-Men characters, even just in Modern, which is what I mostly play. All this old stuff from pre-Modern area, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But, I think there's some pretty cool X-Men that you could pair with that, and anything that's going to buff your X-Men. And then if you had some kind of basic action, like, Hulk out or something to give it Overcrush, right?
Yeah.
You're buffing your X-Men. I mean, look at that Cyclops on level 3. First off, he's only 1 to field. Second off, it's a 6 attack, right?
Yeah.
So even with him, you can just, buff and Overcrush away. I think there'd be some pretty cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
And if you really want to go old school with the X-Men, you got Storm Windrider.
Oh yeah, she's a 5 cost.
Oh yes. There's a lot of weird shenanigans you can do when you throw in the old school stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about her. Until right
That's
now.
why you brought Laurier to this party.
That's exactly why. So he can give some ideas for people who can come and hit us over the head with some of these things.
Oh yeah, I mean, or at least give you a heads up that I might hit you over the head with it.
That's
For
true.
example,
That's true.
oh, Justice League character. Isn't there a Justice League character that won Worlds last fall that beat me, in fact, last fall that could go very well with that Batman?
I have no idea who that would be.
Fake
Who's that?
news. Green Lantern.
Oh, him.
Yes.
Green Lantern. What's that? Green Lantern human?
Yes.
Right? You need
From
to pair
the-
some masks with that.
Yeah, but
Which
that-
would be
I
the
mean,
bigger challenge of this one is like energy production. Well, I guess no, you're going to be rolling 5 dice. You should have some energy to spare when that comes along, but
Yeah.
you're not going to have the good old mimic ramp where you're producing 30 dice per turn, so...
Exactly. And the unfortunate part is that you can't get the mask sidekick fixers.
No.
Because those are...
They're out.
Oh, wait! Actually, I just realized something. Let me just double check something so I don't speak... no, never mind. Intellect Devourer is not a 5 cost. Crap.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Almost. We almost had it there, guys.
Yeah. But no, there's no sidekick fixers that can get you a mask in this format, which is unfortunate. But that would still be something fun if you
Yep.
want to try it. No guarantee it would work.
No, I mean, well, that's the whole thing with most of these Team of the Month is, some of these teams aren't going to be... they're definitely not on the competitive spectrum, we'll say. But they're more for the fun and just goofy stuff that you may not normally pull out of the binder, so...
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there.
What I think is
And-
cool about this format is there's so many 5-cost characters that I never play with because I'm like, oh, that would be cool, but it costs 5.
Yeah.
So I'm not ever going to play that, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to take me forever to get to it. I'm going to need 3 cards to make it happen. So I think it's a cool format for that very reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I think of 5-cost Justice League characters, I would never run 5-cost Justice League characters just because that reminds me of a card that I am very glad to see leave Modern, and I would likely be very, very, very annoyed if I saw Wonder Woman Reflections on the other side of the table.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention her because I'm pretty sure she's going to show up.
Oh dear, what have I done?
Maybe not. We'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, she's on there. Enough of the affiliation, guys. So next we've got probably the most obvious choice for this format. Like when I first kind of came up with the format idea, these guys are the first ones who jumped to my mind. Because there you go, you got 3 5-cost characters. They all play off of each other. They all make each other bigger, deadlier, intimidating-er. Overcrushier. So I mean, this is the team in itself. Like 3 characters, you don't really need anything else, and you're not going to be working to get these guys. So, what else do you want to add to these guys?
That team is, I think, the big reason why I wanted Jerry Lawler banned instead of Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
This team alone made like, because you take out Becky Lynch, no big deal, whatever. But if Jerry's still around, this team is going to wreck it. I still think this team's probably going to wreck things pretty decently,
Probably.
but we'll see. It'll be interesting, especially if there's multiple of these guys out there, like how they're going to play against each other.
What protection is there against that team in a 5-cost? Because Wonder Woman's not going to help you.
Wonder Woman's not going to do anything for you here.
And Blob's a 4-cost.
Laurier, do you got any ideas? How do you stop the Warriors 3?
There's this thing. It's called Wallop or Smash, depending on which version we want to use. It's a basic action. It's not covered by the cost restriction, and the global stops Overcrush dead in its tracks.
Yep. You'll still die from Deadly, but...
Your characters will die from Deadly.
And hopefully
But
you've
then,
got enough in the field to survive the Intimidate, but...
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. How many are you really going to get to field in a turn? There's no Yawning Portal around, so
True.
fielding discounts are not going to be as readily available.
True. That is true. But yeah, I think these guys are going to be pretty powerful. But yeah, I guess there are a few ways to stop them, and probably your basic actions are your best ways to deal with them.
Yeah, Wallop's a good call out, Laurier.
Okay, we'll skip past these guys. So the next ones we're going to be talking about are one, Laurier, I think you suggested this team, or brought up the topic of dragons. They are lots of 5-cost dragons. We've only got like 2 of them on here, so we've got kind of the linchpin to most dragon teams, which is Silver Dragon, the rare silver dragon, so you can get discounts on your other dragons. And then the new hotness in Oranax, who's basically a cheaper gold dragon. Same stats, just not as many abilities, but who cares when you got a body like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, those are just two examples of the dragons that you can put, but you could fill a whole team with dragons easily. And the breath weapon is a good way to use. Again, earlier I mentioned spare energy that you don't have enough to buy a character with. Great example of how to use it. You pay a breath weapon, attack with one dragon, you deal 2 damage to them, maybe soften up their characters, and probably they're going to have to block the dragons because they all have some pretty beefy stats.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is one I would actually consider running, because I've always loved dragons. I mean, yeah, you're not going to get the magical Ring of Winter here, but who cares?
Yeah, and I mean, you get damage early. I mean, there's no use dragging it out, right?
Boo.
Oh, the puns, man.
Hey, I stopped myself until now.
Okay, that's not bad. We got 8 slides in before it came out. That's good. How about you, Jocelyn? Anything you want to add about dragons?
Dragons are dragons. How do you go wrong?
You can't go wrong. Okay. Next one, I think this is one that Miss Jocelyn's quite a fan of, is Infiltrate. Now, granted, it's probably not as powerful without Angela, who's a 4-cost, but Cables himself is pretty decent, so if you can figure out how to get his Infiltrate to trigger, you're going to be having some fun with that. Rogue basically makes all your sidekicks extra infiltrators. So, Jocelyn, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, I think if I was going to go with it, I'd probably go Rogue, because if you've got access to Magnus so you can field sidekicks, you can start fielding all your sidekicks, and eventually you're just going to go wider than your opponent, and they're not going to be able to block everything, right?
Yeah.
So just infiltrate it all away, and hit your damage that way. So I think that's probably the way I would go. I do like the Cable, how it works and how it does additional damage for each other non-sidekick attacking die. So you could easily do that, and that damage does add up really quick. I know with rolling 5 dice in every turn, getting Cable isn't going to be a problem, but how many are you going to be able to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do have to pay for that fielding cost of a 2 potentially, right, on
Yep.
2 of the 3 levels. So there certainly isn't going to be a lot of extra energy with him around. I've been sitting here racking my brain actually trying to think about how to reduce fielding costs in this format, because a lot of these characters have high fielding costs.
Yeah, I haven't quite... Nope, that's not a 5-cost. I haven't quite figured that out yet myself. I haven't delved that deep into the strategy yet.
and I haven't gotten there in the however many minutes we've been recording this video, but I'm sure there's something out there that I'm not thinking of. But yeah, I think that would be fun. And then the question though becomes, what other infiltrators are 5-costs? I think it's really just those 2.
I believe that's it. I don't think there's any others.
That's the unfortunate thing, and I just realized as we were recording, they don't play that well off each other because Cable does specify non-sidekick.
Yeah.
So he'd trigger off of Rogue and any other Cables that.
I guess you
that
could
you'd
run.
have.
You could run Cloak of Elvenkind from the new D&D
that would
set.
work. Yeah.
And then you could give Infiltrate to any character you want.
That's
True.
potential. That's got some shenanigan potential.
So that would be kind of fun, because your basic actions are not restricted by the 5-cost stipulation, right? So
You just need to be able to attach it to someone, so it has to be an adventurer of some, or not adventurer, the gear icon.
Yes.
yeah, adventure.
You need to throw in a 5-cost character from D&D.
Yeah.
That has a gear icon, which there are plenty of.
Yeah, there's
I
lots
think
of
there'd
choices.
be lots of them
Yeah.
that you could choose from.
So that's a good. I never thought of that one. That's a good option there.
So
Yeah.
that's probably what I would do if I was going to go full Infiltrate.
I would add, one thing you'd need for Infiltrate is some way to avoid blockers. Because
Yes,
it's
that's the
not
challenge.
built in. But there are ways around that. I mean, for people who still have their old AVX stuff lying around, Spider-Man Web Slinger is a 5-cost where essentially when you attack with him, you can pay a fist and have everyone block Spider-Man, which frees up a whole lot of space for any infiltrators you want to swing in with.
That kind of sounds like a Madam Web, right?
Yeah, he was Madam Web before Madam Web was a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that option. So there's
Yeah.
ways to make it work. Have we covered Infiltrate good enough then?
I think we've covered it.
Okay. So the next one is basically a choose your own adventure card. It's super rare mimic, so you put him on and then close your eyes and pick some other cards, and there you go.
There is so much you can do with that guy. Anything that's while active that you could benefit from having more than one of. I mean, just think of this earlier when we were looking at the Batman that buffs sidekicks. Oh, instead of +2 attack, they have +4 attack now. Oops, okay, that's something. And the fact that you can just switch your targets at will, like this is, I mean, I don't know what else I'm going to build with, but he's probably going to be part of it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, why didn't we ban him? Oops.
Well, that would be no fun now.
Well, yeah, now it's too late. So yeah, throw your mimics on and let's have some fun, guys.
Yeah, the only thing is, you know when I said earlier that if you don't care too much about your friends, you could use Adam Warlock with Batman. If you really hate your friends, just have Mimic copying Adam Warlock and then fail the Batman, and then make them reroll their stuff 4 times.
Jesus Christ.
You would just need JT's magic sidekick there, Laurier.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to remind me of that.
Yeah, so basically super rare mimic's good. That's all you need to know. He'll pair well with anything, and even if he doesn't pair well with your stuff, he'll probably pair well with your opponent's stuff.
And what's nice about the Team of the Month is that you don't actually have to own a super rare mimic to play.
You do not.
Super rare mimic.
All you
can
need to do
proxy
is
the card.
proxy the card. Heck, just have a sticky note that says super rare mimic on it. As long as we know what you're playing, good enough for us.
As long as the dice are good, right?
Yes, the dice do have to match. So if you happen to not have the red mimic dice, but you do have the newer gray, bluish gray,
White-ish.
the new ones. If you have the new mimics, those are fine. As long as the stats match, the faces have to match. That's all we care about.
And the energy type.
And the energy type, yes.
So long as the die mimics the correct one.
Yes, that's 2. You only get 1 more.
You're gonna let him have 3?
I'm gonna let him have 3. We're gonna let him have 3.
Alright.
So yeah, not much else to say about Mimic. He's super good. So our final one, this is for me. Realistically, if you're gonna play a 5-cost team, is there really any other choice but the Turtles? Now, to be fair, you're losing Metalhead because he's a 6-cost, but still, it's the Turtles. Come on. That's it. End of the video. Thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but if you look at the turtles, though, you still have some that can serve as a fun win condition.
Well, yeah, you could actually pick
look at
turtles that have abilities, not just the turtle power ones that you just get cheaper turtles. Like,
But if you look at that Donatello that you have there, where you can pay a bolt and deal 2 damage to a character die or opponent, that's 1/10 of your opponent's life right there, and you're still swinging in with something that's like what, 3 to 5 damage.
yeah,
That's not bad. That can be pretty fun.
yeah.
They
And,
take
Yeah.
damage out of the way, so
well, and I like the
think there's some fun
Raphael,
stuff
who
there.
basically static field's not going to be an issue for you.
yeah, that Raphael is such a fun troll card to use.
Yeah.
If you in this format,
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a Turtles fan. I've played them many times, probably when I shouldn't have, but still did. That's all I'm gonna say. Turtles are great. Play them.
Yeah.
You'll have fun.
yeah. And I guess that's it in a nutshell, or a turtle shell, as it were.
There you go. That's 3.
There you go, that's 3.
Which thankfully brings us to the actual end of the video. So that's this coming Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I believe is the start time. You come to our Twitch channel, which is Jocelyn.
Twitch.tv/DiceMastersNorth.
And from there, we just kind of spread out, come up with the pairings, play, have a few rounds, have some fun. That's about it. Hopefully we see you there.
And if you don't want to play, you can always join the Twitch just for the chatter.
Oh yeah, we like to spam the chat there. We've got that's always fun to do. Anything else we want to add here?
Oh, unless you want me to throw even more puns your way.
No,
I
we
think
gave you
we're good.
3. You hit 3.
That was your limit.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of this. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully we do see you this coming Saturday. And like Jocelyn said, if you don't want to play, that's cool. Just hang out in the chat with us and have some fun.
Go Turtles.
Yeah. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hit that bell.